Alright guys, how's it going? I recently had a video that I made, but I told it probably be a wiser decision if I made it shorter. The one I made was like 30 minutes long. So, my name is Joe. Just recently joined Trinity Archery field staff. It's a pretty cool little program. But basically what I wanted to talk to you guys today was a little bit of kind of a testimony, a little bit of what I've been going through, and really what the Lord's shown me. So I'm going to try to make that as quick as possible. About December, I was hunting, and this was the first time that I had been really able to get away from the military, get away from work, and really hunt a lot of consecutive days in a row. And the cool part about that was that I got away from everybody, which I really need, because my walk with the Lord was really struggling. In fact, it was probably crawling along. My wife had recently, told me that I needed to start being a better spiritual leader in the household and stuff like that, and which is not something you want to hear from your wife as a spiritual leader. So anyway, I got out there. I got to go hunting, and I was able to sit down and settle some bitterness that I had towards God, that I had for a while. And I won't go into depth about that, but I was really able to just sit in the peace and quiet and just listen and be still. It was so nice just to be still, to not have to have anything on my mind except for being out in the woods. And so I'm sitting on this tree, or in this tree, on a 2x4, and that had been spread between two branches, and I was just enjoying everything. I had gotten 2 doe already out of this tree, and I was waiting for a buck. I wasn't going to shoot anything else unless it was a buck, even though I had more tags. I didn't need any more meat or anything like that. So I'm sitting there, and this huge 10-point buck walks out in front of me. And it was crazy, because this was the first buck that I had ever seen while I was hunting. And I didn't grow up hunting like my whole life and everything. I've been hunting for about 4 or 5 years now, and all I've ever really seen is doe. This was my first year bow hunting, and so I was pretty excited when I saw this buck walk out in front of me. And I remember pulling back on my bow, and I was shaking real bad. I was so excited. I had so much adrenaline going, buck fever and everything. And this deer looks up at me, and that just made it so much worse that I don't even remember looking through my peep sight, looking down my sight or anything. I just remember pulling back and letting go. And I hit the branch in front of me, and I completely missed. I was devastated, and for the next few days, I was just, all I could think about was that deer. But what was cool about that was that God made it to where I missed that. I don't know how to say that. I guess God kind of made it to where I missed that deer, and in missing that deer, I was able to go out in that tree for the next 3 or 4 days and continue spending time with him, and continue settling my differences that I had, and really re-engage myself in a relationship with the Lord, which was amazing. And so about 3 or 4 days later, it was the last day of hunting, I was able to I was able to harvest that deer. He did come back, and I got him. He's about 18 yards away. It was the greatest moment of my recent life. For a long time, I've been really depressed and really trying to figure out what I want to do with my life, and for that it was amazing. But as far as figuring out what I wanted to do with my life, I realized that I realized for a while that I want to do some sort of outdoors. I wanted a job that allowed me to work outdoors, and it was either going to be firefighting, which I know that doesn't sound right, but it allows me a lot of time out to be outdoors, to be hunting and fishing and spend time with my family. It was either that, or it was some type of fisheries biologist or land manager or wildlife biologist, something like that. And it was really cool just to spend that time out there with the Lord and try to figure that out. But the coolest part about this story is that when I came back from this hunting trip, and as the adrenaline and the excitement of getting a buck and the obsession kind of wore off from deer hunting for the past year, it was time to start focusing on life again and figuring out what it is I wanted to do. I was really struggling with it again, and so I got online. I talked to Marcus, and I talked to some of the guys out at Hallowed Ground, and they sent me some links, and they kind of gave me a place to talk and have fellowship a little bit. And one of the links that was sent to me by Hallowed Ground. They sent me a link to the church out in, I think it's Seattle, Washington. I'm not 100% sure. I'm really bad with names and places unless I've seen it a whole bunch. And so I think it's Seattle, Washington. Anyway, it's a church called Mars Hill, and me and my wife haven't been going to church in town. I'm in the military, so I'm not somewhere familiar. The churches here are kind of different. They're not really what we're used to, at least what I'm not used to. And so we started going to church online at Mars Hill, and we've been going through this sermon series called Who Do You Think You Are? And it's basically a study of the book of Ephesians. And it's really cool. It's really in depth. It's very long sermons. They're about an hour and 15 minutes apiece. My faith kind of started in a Southern Baptist type environment, so it was 30 minutes of worship, 30 minutes of sermon, and where are we gonna go eat afterwards? So I'm not used to the really long sermons, but it's really cool because it allows you to get really in depth and really study the Word a little bit more. And you can print off all the sermons. You can pull up all the scriptures that they excuse me, that they do, and it's amazing. But something I've been really struggling with, like I said, was, you know, who am I? Who does the Lord want me to be? I wish He would show me where He wants me to go and show me what He wants me to do, so that I can you know, get prepared for it, start going to school for it, or do whatever it is. I get to see that the Lord has blessed my wife in showing her what He wants her to do as far as being a nursing student. You know, it's very evident that the Lord wants my wife to do nursing. She has such a passion for it, and she has the tender heart that is required to become a nurse, and she has the brain that is required to become a nurse. So for me, it's kind of like asking God and kind of freaking out. Okay, what do you want me to do? Show me what you want me to do. And so this sermon series is perfect, and I just want to share with you a little bit of what that is. And I gave you guys a little bit of a backstory to kind of help you out. and I'm trying to make this quick because I did this once already and it was like 30-minute video, so it might be a little too long for you. So let's see what I can do here. The verse I'm about to read is from Ephesians. It's chapter 1 verse 7 through 10, and it's really cool. Here it is. It says, in him is mentioned 216 times in the Bible. In him, in Christ, in the beloved, just anything that has to do with being in Christ. And it goes on, it says, in him we have redemption through his blood, the forgiveness of our trespasses, according to the riches of his grace, which he lavished upon us in all wisdom and insight, making known to us the mystery of his will, according to his purpose, which he has set forth in Christ. As a plan for, it goes on to say, as a plan for the fullness of time, to unite all things in him, things in heaven and things on earth. That verse right there, or those couple verses just kind of really stood out to me, because the way that the pastor broke them down in the sermon, it was just mind-blowing, because in Christ, Paul says this 216 times, and if I'm in Christ, I don't have to worry about what it is I'm going to do in the future. You know, God will make that known. My job is to be as much in Christ as I can be, to follow him and to pursue Christ as much as possible, because if I pursue Christ, he's going to guide me to the job that he wants me to do. He's going to open up those doors. He's going to show me what he wants me to do. And I'm the kind of person where when God has showed me what to do, it has to be like a lightning bolt right in front of my face, because I'm going to miss it. So for me to see what he wants, I have to be in him. The only way I can seek guidance and figure out where he wants me to go is to be in him, to be pursuing him. And I know I'm repeating myself a little bit, but Paul did too, 216 times. So I mean, it's something that we forget a lot, obviously, and that Paul thought was something very important to say. In this sermon series, they go on and they talk about, you know, our identity and how we view our identity. One of the things that the pastor mentioned was Facebook, and I'm not speaking bad about Facebook or anything like that. It's just when you first created your Facebook account, what photos did you put up? What did you say you were single? You know, you want to meet a girl or something like that. We might say we want to meet a girl, but we don't want kids, so we put on there, you know, we want kids. And we're trying to sit there and we're trying to convey a certain self-identity on Facebook so that people think that we're a certain person. And it's just weird, because we do this with so many different things. We do this with our items, with the things that we have. You know, I've got a drum set, I've got guns, that makes me a drummer, a hunter. I have an old beater pickup truck, that makes me a redneck or whatever. The duties that we have to do. I work in the military. I have duties upon duties upon duties, and you know, supposedly those duties are what define me. You know, you might be a lawyer or a doctor or something. Those jobs define you. You know, according to you, those jobs define you. When somebody introduces you, they're like, "Hey, this is Billy Joe, the doctor. Well, what happens if Billy Joe loses his job? Now he's got an identity crisis because he's not a doctor anymore. You know, now he's got to figure something out. They go on. They say a few more things on there about idols and things that we use as idols to define us, like sufferings. The widow or the widower, you know, that person's a widow. That defines them. That's who they are. And it's not. It really isn't. Who you are in Christ is what defines you. And what's really cool is I can't remember if it was the way he put it or me and my wife talking about it, but you know, if you're a lawyer or a doctor or something like that, and that's what defines you in this day and age, in this economy, it's crazy to know how many identity crises you're going to go through, because there is no job security right now, and it's just crazy. It's crazy out there. So again, you know, I've been really putting a lot of time and effort into thinking about where I wanted to go after the military and what I wanted to do, and this was just thrown on me, just like, stop worrying about it, quit stressing about it, quit freaking out, because it's not doing you any good, and you should be spending this time and all this energy, spending this time and energy that you're putting into worrying about who you are and what you're going to do, and be concentrating on who you are in Christ and pursuing Christ, because when we are in Christ, Christ is going to guide us to where He wants us to go and what He wants us to do, and He knows our heart. He knows what our passions are. He knows what our strengths are, and He's not going to take somebody like me and try to make me a doctor or a I don't know, a lawyer or something. He's not going to do that for me. He knows my strengths are in other places, and He's going to place me in that position to where I will be happy, and I will be pursuing Him, which when I'm pursuing Him, He'll be working through me to help further His kingdom. So I just wanted to kind of share that with you guys. I know I kind of rambled a little bit, and I hope this video isn't too long. But I really appreciate you guys listening. I hope you guys have a good rest of the week, and I look forward to hearing the next Bible study and hearing what you guys have to say about this one. So y'all take it easy, and God bless. Thanks.